All right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. And that is that in light of recent developments in the firearms industry, I think it is high time for Ruger to reintroduce the Deerfield. Only put 3 in. Hi, George here, and welcome to Tales from Target Suite, where I'll share my perspective on guns and shooting, and we'll have an adventure or two that will make even a grown man smile. And gosh, what a great gun this is. And I posted a video a couple of years ago. If you've been around the channel a long time, you may remember it. It's one of my most successful videos ever, and it was entitled PCC with Power. And boy, it stirred up a hornet's nest of folks both loving and hating the Ruger Deerfield. But there has been some recent developments in the firearm industry, and that of course came in the form of the Henry Homesteader. A really nice, I haven't gotten my hands on one yet, Henry, but a really nice looking pistol caliber carbine in 9mm, and it's got a wood stock, blued finish, very traditional in that perspective. Just a nice handyman's gun. But what the Deerfield brings to the table, and why I called it a pistol caliber carbine with power, is because it is chambered in, of course, .44 Magnum. And so it's not in the same category as the Homesteader or other pistol caliber carbines in pistol calibers like 9mm or even 10mm or 40. But what a great gun. And I'm hoping that at least somebody there will consider that it might be time to bring this out again, because maybe the wind is changing in the direction it blows. But what a great gun. And let me put it down and get it loaded up again. And we'll shoot it another time or two, and I'll tell you some more about it. And you see we have a scope here on the table. We're going to talk about that. There'll be some good information for you. If you have one of these, or if you're thinking about getting one, there's something you need to know about scopes, so we're going to cover that. In fact, let's look at that right now. So that was a really nice vintage 3x9 Weaver made in the USA, and it was just getting banged really seriously with the ejected cases out of the Ruger Deerfield. And so I understand there was a time that Ruger actually offered some kind of a deflector plate for this that would clear where the brass would clear a scope. But it does have the really nice Ruger built-in Ruger bases. In fact, while I show you those Ruger bases that are built into this receiver, let's just take a closer look at the gun in general. Nice pop-up rear peep sight. And there's one of those bases. You can see it's got a little half-moon dovetail cut in it. Here's the front one. The Ruger Deerfield carbine. Of course, one of the biggest complaints was the 4-round magazine, and I suspect that if Ruger chose to reintroduce this, they could offer a little bit more capacity there. Let's take a look at that M1 carbine-esque rotating bolt. But what a great gun. It was introduced in 2001, had a fairly short life of, 5 years, from 2001 to 2006. But it is a really neat gun, and it's built on the Ruger Mini 14 ranch rifle. It's a fantastic gun. Let's shoot it some more. Well, I should have practiced a little bit out there at 70 yards before I took a shot on camera, but it does have a punch, and that's one reason I think that that folks go with a pistol caliber carbine in a lighter cartridge. But one thing about this gun, it is very light at 6.5 pounds roughly. It's got a really nice flip-up rear sight, and you can mount a scope, but as you saw, there's things to consider if you're going to mount a scope. But what if Ruger were to consider the reintroduction of the Ruger Deerfield? What would be your #1 request? Yep, I think I heard that. It would be that magazines would come with greater than 4-round capacity. And you know what? It was designed originally as a hunting rifle, but you know, for guys who just want to do some shooting, or if they're running trap lines, or taking care of whatever it is in their rural environment, then a little bit larger capacity is probably a good thing to have. So maybe if they come out with it, they would introduce a 10-round magazine. I know there was an aftermarket 10-round magazine at one time. I have never pursued that because, again, this is not my rifle, but belongs to Micah. So, but I want to take just a minute and thank one of the channel friends. His name is Thomas Haley. And Thomas has provided me with quite a bit of ammo. I got a care package from him the other day with, I want to say, 7 or 8 boxes of ammo, and it included this box of 44 Magnum. And thanks, Thomas. And I also want to thank one of my viewers who sent me a very generous super chat with the instructions to buy a box of ammo. And so I did that. I actually bought 2 boxes of MagTech 44 Magnum ammo just for this video. So his donation covered one of those for sure, and so thanks, Ron, and I appreciate it. And if you would like to support me through Patreon, there's a link in the description, or if you want to do as Ron did and support me through a super chat, that's down there just above the description as well, and I appreciate it. But what a great gun. It is fantastic. So let's shoot it one more time here, and then I want to talk to you about accuracy, because the Ruger Deerfield had a reputation of not being accurate, and I went on a journey with this one right here, and the end result was I was very satisfied. So I'm back down here again. I still want to see if I can't get some kind of decent accuracy here. I've tried a couple of different things. I really think it has more to do with my shooting technique. So let's see if we can't get some better groups here with a couple of different types of ammo. But right now I'm going to focus on my hand loads with mostly a maximum charge of W296 and a Hornady 240 grain XTP. So. Okay. All right. I think that's better. Let's go check it out. It's definitely technique. Yesterday and this morning I shot some groups and they were horrible. And this is a perfect example right here. I mean, this is a decent group right here. That's right at 1 3/4 inches. This one right here is about 1 3/8 inches or so. And kind of low right, low, a little bit right. This is a little bit low. This one's way up there. And that's because it's a light gun. This is my hypothesis. It's a light gun. And if you don't have a good shoulder, a good hold in your shoulder, then the gun is going to muzzle flip more, and a fairly slow round, you're going to shoot high. And that's pretty decent. But if you hear people say that they're spraying bullets everywhere with their Ruger Deerfield, I would just wonder if they're having the same problem that I still have, and that's an inconsistent shooting technique. So I'm very satisfied with these. That Deerfield is more than adequate at 100 yards for deer, pig, anything like that. Pretty good stuff. Let's shoot a little bit more. I'll bust some jugs down there. Yes, I'd like to have a few more shots just for making videos so I don't have to reload quite so often, but what a great gun. And it does have decent accuracy. You know, that I would say if you take out that one, I'll call it a flyer because I know that I wasn't really nestled into my shoulder good, and that one bullet in that second group really shot quite high. You take that out, I was getting 1 1/4 to 1.5 inch groups at 100 yards. Very, very acceptable for a short barrel semi-automatic carbine in .44 Magnum, one made on the M1 carbine style rotating bolt action. So I think it's time that I mean, obviously the homesteader from Henry is receiving a lot of attention, and rightly so. I think it's a neat concept at the right time. So hopefully Ruger will consider their best effort so far at a traditional looking pistol caliber carbine like this. So one more time around. Let's see if I can hit way down there. There we go. Wow, I'd say that proves my point about accuracy. At 70 yards, can't complain. The Ruger Deerfield .44 Magnum. This one was from 2002. Thank you, Micah, for letting me borrow it. And with that said, I think we'll just make this a short one. And so I'll see you in the next video.